Hey guys, it's Shama here for Instagram Live. It's been a while since we did one of our Instagram Shama in real life Q&A sessions talking about things happening in the industry. And I'm really excited to answer a lot of your questions and, things that are happening around the industry for you guys. And what's been so amazing is I'm still in Vegas. And while in Vegas, it's been really fun and exciting because I've been able to meet with and see a lot of brands and really hear and experience what's been happening on the end of the buying market. So what all of you wholesale guys are up to. And also coming off of a New York Fashion Week, it's been really interesting and exciting to see how brands are reinventing themselves, right? So what we want to talk about today, and kind of today's big topic, was inventive ways to present to buyers without being annoying, right? And it can be so annoying to be pitching. Trust me, I used to be on the other end of being a buyer. Certainly, I'm coaching and working with so many brands as they grow and launch their businesses and trying to make sure that they stay effective as far as how they're going to be communicating, but definitely not annoying. And so we've got some really great questions that came in from our audience. If you guys have questions, want to ask something about wholesale and pitching right now, would be more than happy to kind of address some of those questions. As you guys know, we're going into New York market. We came off of New York Fashion Week. Now we're finishing up Magic in Vegas. We have New York market, Paris market, and yada, 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 right? There's so many different markets to be working on. Okay, so let's get started with the first question. And again, as you guys want to keep rolling in, ask more things. This is all about inventive ways to present to buyers without being really annoying. Okay, so the first question here is direct mail a great route to reach buyers since most people just send them emails? This is a great question, guys. I am such a fan of mail. If you've heard me talk at all, ever, on the YouTube videos, if you've heard me talk at all in terms of other live sessions, you'll know that I am a huge fan of sending postcards. I'm a huge fan of sending a really fun pencil or some kind of other collateral in the mail. Maybe it's also sending a, smaller lookbook or something that's more accordion style. So it's not necessarily a fancy lookbook in in a padded envelope and it costs you so much money for shipping. But when it comes to getting in front of buyers, guys, it's important to realize that emails can get really clogged. And while it's important to make sure that you are sending emails because, hey, email is what really will help to facilitate the conversation, from a brand awareness standpoint, it's so valuable for you guys to be sending direct mail. So I would say when you're looking at your wholesale outreach strategy to get in front of these retailers, you want to also be thinking about this in terms of, hey, what are all the different touch points? Obviously, you're going to get on the phone, you're going to want to get on email and come out with an email strategy and email cadence. And then also I would say, think about what is a third way in which you can get in front of these buyers. Is it by sending them something in the mail? Maybe you're going to send flowers or a telegram or something a little creative, but we've got to find new ways of reaching out to buyers and getting outside the box. Now, one of the brands I was talking to with yesterday was telling us about how much difficulty they had just from the mail route, just from sending out traditional emails. And so they really have gone towards the trade show route in order to be consistent and see buyers and make sure that they're getting enough new eyeballs. Now, I know today's all about new ways to get in front of, wholesale buyers, but I gotta tell you, coming out of Magic, walking the shows at Project, Stitch, looking at Pool Trade Show, I can tell you there were lots of buyers that were walking around the trade shows, global and international markets. And sometimes these guys are people who you would never actually find when doing a traditional online research for the brands you want to be pitching to, or the retailers you want to be pitching to. So what's interesting here, guys, is most of the time when you're putting together your wholesale pitching, you're really only thinking about online retail or who has an online storefront or who has an email address. However, guys, there's a whole globalized marketplace of brands and retailers that are looking to find your brand. So certainly don't discount the wholesale trade show options. Okay, next question. How can I be memorable to buyers at a trade show? Okay, I saw some amazing things yesterday about brands that were being super memorable. One brand had an artist there that was doing live painting. Another brand was doing free screen printing for people who came by. Another brand had oh my God, these guys were amazing. They actually had free donuts that they were giving out, which I thought was really awesome. And then aside from the free donuts, they had hard lemonade. And those of you guys who know what hard lemonade is, it's, lemonade with vodka in it. So there are lots of different fun ways of being able to have interactivity, of being able to have food that's available, and also having ways in which people are able to kind of experience the essence of your brand. Now, what's also really important, guys, is when you think about your trade show booth, sometimes we often just put so much shit in there, right? I can't tell you, there were so many brands that just had too many products that were, just shoved into a tiny little square footage. Now, brands, you guys have to be careful because the retailers want to see nice merchandising, right? They want to be able to see what the collection and what the look and feel is. And you start to see even more of this messiness or this kind of over assorting when it comes to looking at how showrooms are presenting their multi-line concepts, right? So you see showrooms that have, 4 or 5 different brands there and they're shoving everything together. So it's important to give really the look and feel, right? Make sure that you have enough space. Make sure that your presentation really shows off the brand. The other really cool thing is at Pool, they really oftentimes promote the concept of cash and carry. Now, cash and carry is a great concept because cash and carry really means, hey, buyers, if you like our product, you can actually buy a product for yourself to take home and pay the wholesale price. Now, what's amazing about that is it gives buyers an opportunity to try something out. In fact, I bought something yesterday from this brand new company that was doing these earmuffs that had Bluetooth technology in them. And I want to say the name was called a Huggle, or it was like a combination of like a snuggle and a hug. I think it was called a Huggle. And what was so cool about it is they had completely almost sold out of their cash and carry. They only had 3 versions of their products. So when you sometimes think about, oh, should I do a trade show because I don't have that many units or that many styles? In fact, it was so successful for them because they were very like they were very much like an item-driven brand. So yes, okay, so Kinky Pink. Imagine a bedroom setup you walk into. We are all about the experience. I love that idea, especially if you were to partner up with someone like a Casper mattress or that other company, Lisa, and you're like, hey, I'm doing a trade show, I'm going to show our products, but I also want to really create, a branded experience, right? And so you're partnering up and working with other brands to show that you're collaborative, to show that what kind of marketing activities you have. I think that's a really cool idea. But when it comes to, creating interactivity and being memorable, it is just as much about the visual merchandising as it is about how you're putting forth that message and who's talking about your brand. I saw so many brand owners at Pool, and Pool is really where the smaller brands are, who were talking and who were there representing their brands. And the ones that I thought were the most impressive were the ones who were like, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm the founder of XYZ. Because you know what? There's so much more of an opportunity for a smaller boutique to be able to get to know you, to find out more about you. So I really suggest manning your own booth. I think it really helps with getting that one-to-one connection with those smaller buyers. Now, even when you look at the tents and some of the higher end brands, now you're looking at teams of about 3 or 4 people, right? So maybe it's the salesperson that's heading there. However, it's really important that someone from your team is being able to talk about your brand in a way that is really emotional. It's not just, hey, this is the brand and I'm showing this collection. You want to make sure that they are really invested in the success and they know the story and they can speak really lively and engaged. It's not just about a body, guys. These people are on the forefront of representing your brand. So those of you guys who are just tuning in, we are taking questions around how to sell to wholesale in new and creative ways that do not harass buyers and that are not super annoying. If you guys have any questions or you want to chime in, please do. I'm answering a bunch of questions that have come through from our newsletter. If you guys have not subscribed to the Scaling Retail newsletter, please do. Lots of great informative insider content. Okay, let's continue. How can I be memorable? Okay, I answered that one. What strategies really struck a chord with you when you were a buyer? What were your favorite tactics by brand owners? That is great. And you know what I thought was really nice was when a brand really wanted to get to know me and they wanted to get feedback, and they would say something like, hey, I'd love to take you out for a coffee and show you the collection, or I'd love to, swing by, or I want to chat with you for 5 minutes, would you mind, can I come by and make an appointment to see you? Most of the time, what we find is, as buyers, a lot of the times brands are just treating you as if you're some kind of receptacle for lookbooks. It's like you're not just like, a trash can that's like waiting for more and more and more lookbooks, right? You're actually like a person who's making a lot of decisions, and you want to be treated as such, and you want to be treated with the respect as, someone who is responsible for huge financial investments for businesses, right? So, and it's really important that you are super natural, really, not overly technical, but giving a lot of great information when you send emails, and then certainly being able to kind of quickly get that person in real life. Hey, I'd really love to partner or work with you guys. Can I take you out to drinks on Friday or sometime in the next few weeks? I'd love to just see what you really think about the collection and the brand. And of course, you're not going to be able to do that with 200 people. However, right, it is a really great idea to find your top tier doors and put aside a budget to be able to really get to know and to woo these buyers. Because guys, they may not buy you the first season. However, they might actually be really interested and what it is that you are selling. And they might want to cultivate, right? And they might want to be able to kind of see you, see how your brand progresses and see how you're able to kind of grow. And then maybe they buy your product 2 or 3 years later. So, or maybe it's 2 years later or 2 seasons later. So I think it's fascinating for us to think about how we can reach out to buyers, how we can create a great emotional connection with them. And the other thing that I love was lookbooks that were not just traditional lookbooks, right? And what do I mean by that? I think that, not traditional lookbooks means sending something like origami in the mail, right? It means sending something that's like a Mad Libs. It means sending something that is a lot more creative. Maybe it's a hologram postcard, right? Or holographic postcard. Maybe you're sending, other interesting objects and things that aren't just a traditional, here's a lookbook. One great example is brands that do fold out lookbooks. Maybe they are doing a calendar. Maybe it's a 6 months calendar, right? And they're showing, hey guys, maybe they're doing a 6 month calendar, and every month there's a new product from the collection or a new lookbook image. And then below it, they have the days. I think that that's really valuable and really important. So when you think about, runny nose. When you think about the different ways that you can get in front of the buyers, I'd say be creative, think outside of the box. All right, so I have 2 more questions, guys, that I think will be really valuable for you. The next one is, when is it okay to contact buyers through social media? This is a really big one. It's really big because when you think about using social media to be able to get in front of someone, you really have to ask yourself, is this the appropriate channel? Meaning, am I contacting someone on a personal channel, or is it a small boutique and I'm direct messaging them on their boutique channel? So what I think is really valuable is when you are direct messaging people through a boutique's Instagram channel, I think it's super valid and really valuable, especially if it's a small boutique, because chances are there are only about, let's say, maybe 3 to 5 people who are working internally. And one of those people is likely, if they like the collection, they're likely to bubble that up to the owner, if it's not the owner themselves who's busy managing their social channels. So for small buyers, for small retail companies, I think it's actually a great idea to go through Instagram. However, it's not just, hey, how's it going? Here's my collection. It's got to be a lot more personal. It's got to be a lot more, hey, here's my brand. I love what you guys are doing. I feel like our product could be an amazing fit. Blah, blah, blah. Here's our link. Let me know what your thoughts are. It would mean so much to me, right? It's really being endearing to them and saying, hey, I really think this could be a good fit. The moment you guys send out these blanketed emails without any personalization, without being able to tell someone why it's a good fit, you really shoot yourselves in the feet, right? You're not able to go very far. And the reason why you're not able to, go very far is because it actually ends up being one of 1,000 emails that they're already seeing. And so you want to make sure that you stand out. Now, guys, here's something that's really cool. On our blog, we've got 2 really cool blog posts. The first one has to do with the ultimate guide to selling wholesale, and the second one is also based on wholesale. And they're one of our top 2 performing blogs. And what we've actually done, which is super cool, is we've created these awesome downloads to go along with each of them. One of them, I think, has the top 12 subject headers that I use with brands that help them get like huge open rates on their emails. So if you guys are interested in like how to get your emails opened, I don't have the list in front of me, but you'll want to head over to our blog and then you'll want to sign up to get this download. It's super rad. And then it also has with it a one-on-one buyer interview that I did. One of them is with the buyer of Henrik Vibskov, which is an amazing boutique in Soho. The other one is with a company called Field Trip, which is based in Oregon. And again, I would take a look at these 2 blog posts and read them, learn from them, but also download all the stuff because there's these amazing interviews that are quite lengthy to kind of go one-on-one in depth with buyers who are buying now. Like certainly we open up retail shops for people. We do a lot of buying for clients, but you may not want to hear more from not just me, right? It's nice to hear from other people. Okay, so that's my question on social media. If it's a small boutique, reach out. If it's not a small boutique, please do not reach out to buyers from large companies on their personal social. I think it's basically harassment because their social media channel, even though it might be open to the public, is likely, not there to solicit, brands unless they say something in their bio that says, hey, feel free to contact me if you want to send me your pitch. But I don't think it's really great to do that. I do think, however, if you do find buyers that you like on social media, it is not a bad idea to like their images, right? Because certainly if it's open to the public, you can certainly like their images. And then if you actually think that them as an individual would be a great influencer, or would be a great person to wear your product, and you want to gift them a product, then you could shoot them an email re-gifting, the name of your company and say, hey, so-and-so, I've been following you on Instagram for a while, love your style, think you would really love our product. Can I send you, can I comp you one of our items? Can I send you a gift? Now, remember, guys, there is no guarantee of any kind of transaction that comes out of gifting, right? You just have no idea what's going to happen there. However, by doing so, you're kind of subversively getting into the forefront of the buyer's mind. You're able to gift them a great product. Who knows? Maybe they like the product, maybe they don't, but it's a more gentle, far more approachable way. Also, do not be pitching buyers on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a place where most people look for jobs, right? So can you imagine if you're looking for a job and someone's pitching you on buying something for your company that you're trying to leave possibly? That's not cool, right? That totally defeats the whole purpose of using LinkedIn. So use LinkedIn to find out who these people are. Please do not use LinkedIn to reach out to them. Okay, guys, final question. Just to reiterate, today's conversation is all about how to be inventive and pitch to buyers in ways that are not super annoying. So if you guys have any questions about how to do that, about wholesale strategy, buying seasons, please, this is the time to ask, and I will tell as much as I can. Okay, last final question we got through our newsletter. How can I keep up with the trends in lookbook and website appearance and functionality? Good question. And when is it a good idea to try something totally innovative? Also good follow-up question. So, keeping up with the trends in lookbooks and website appearance and functionality. Well, the great thing, guys, with lookbooks is that your lookbook should be evolving every time you have a new collection or every time you're pitching. So if that means that you are pitching ATS, so immediate products that you want to be able to ship within that season, at that season, in that moment, have a special lookbook and do a test for that, right? Try something that is a little bit more creative as you're going to that pitch. And believe me, anytime you're sending out an email is an opportunity to reframe your lookbooks and try something new. So how often can you do this? You can do it a lot. as far as like how can you keep up the trends as far as what's going on with lookbooks, well, I don't know if you guys ever walk shows competitively, but it's really nice sometimes to walk some of these trade shows and get an idea of what is happening, right? Are people using USB sticks, which was super popular like a year ago? Are they still going back to print media? Are they doing fold out postcards, like accordion style postcards? Are they doing fold out interactive worksheets where you can fill in Mad Libs and whatnot? Take a look and see what your competitive brands are doing. You can also, what we used to do internally when I used to work at Gucci, is we would have our interns and our assistants do a lot of like comp research on a regular basis. So when you think about doing competitive research, it means maybe having an intern who's contacting some different wholesale divisions from their personal email and finding out, hey, can I get a chance to see your lookbook? What's happening? What are you guys presenting for this season? And that's amazing because you can actually see what it is that your competitors are putting out and publishing. But as far as trends in terms of lookbooks and how you're going to be sending out content, be creative, guys. There isn't really kind of the forefront of what is happening in lookbooks. It's a little bit more of how can you do something that's interesting that other people are not doing, right? How can you find a way to make it a little bit more creative? Can you make it scented? That's kind of weird, but could be amazing, right? Are you attaching candy to it? Are you finding a way to make it interactive, right? Is it cool? Will it stick around? It's very similar to when you think about things like, a catalog mailer. How can you make something beautiful and interesting so that someone actually wants to look at it and then wants to be able to engage with you after the fact? So I think these are some really interesting ways in which we can start to think about wholesale technology, right? How we're actually deploying our lookbooks, etc. Now, the next thing that I think is really important is when we think about keeping up with website functionality. And that was there's three parts to this person's question, but website appearance and functionality is really important for you guys to be updating, or at least take a look at functionality every 18 months or so, right? 18 to 24 months, you want to take a step back and say, okay, is my website really optimized for what it is that I'm looking to achieve? Meaning, are you actually creating a website that is going to get someone to go to your wholesale side? Are you creating a website that's going to actually convert your customers? What exactly is happening on your website, and what are the new trends in conversion rate optimization? Now, do that about every 18 to 24 months. You might make some tweaks and changes. You certainly want to stay on top of what's happening on a regular basis. Now, there are multiple different schools of thought when it comes to what is trendy and what is happening from a website standpoint. Some people decide to put who their stockists are on their website. Other brands choose not to list any of their stockists. Some people have their wholesale information in a contact section. Other people have a whole dedicated section specifically just for their wholesale. And so what I think is important for us to ask ourselves is, how do we as individual brands want to incorporate that? Certainly, if you are not in a lot of different stores, you may not want to be listing all of your stockists. However, I have clients who are in lots of stores, meaning hundreds of stores, and listing their stockists would actually look bad, right? It would actually look like they're possibly what it means to kind of be over assorted, or what it means to actually, be in too many stores. Well, sometimes that might mean to you that, hey, I'm in all these stores. Well, maybe a retailer isn't as interested in working with me because I'm already in 6 of these stores in their markets, right? So you've got to be really careful about how you kind of choose how you want to present the fact that you are doing wholesale on your website. Sometimes it's better for a brand to be able to say, hey, we are everywhere that you are. And sometimes it's really better for a brand to maintain a sense of exclusivity in terms of distribution. There is no one-size-fits-all approach with that, unfortunately, because it's really based on your branding. It's based on how you want to be perceived by the market, whether or not you're more item-driven, commodity-driven, or if you have a more aspirational or luxury brand. Whew, lots of information. Okay. The last part of this question was, when is it a good idea to try something totally innovative? The talks that I was giving the last couple of days here at Magic were really fascinating, right? I gave a talk at Sourcing, I was at Project, and a lot of the conversation was about consumer and buying trends in 2018, and then also the other talk was called Reimagining and Rethinking Retail. Now, what's fascinating is when we think about when you should try something totally innovative, it should really be done under very specific experimental parameters. Meaning, if you're gonna have an experimental budget and you wanna try something new, you don't just try it and then let it run and then don't pay attention to it. What you do is you try something, you set very specific KPIs and parameters around it, and then you see how it did, and then you decide if you want to pivot or pursue on that strategy. So for example, take this into the consideration of, let's say, lookbooks. One season, you might want to try one particular strategy of sending out lookbooks to one kind of buyer, and then maybe you try a different kind of lookbook strategy for another different set of buyers. You're A/B split testing what your outreach strategy looks like. Maybe one strategy converts better than the other. Now, the reason why I'm not suggesting that you do one strategy for one season and a different strategy for another is that there are so many other economic factors that you're dealing with. You have no idea if it has to do with the seasonality, the open to buy budget, or just quite simply your products suck one season and they're amazing another, right? As far as what the market is considering. So I would say start A/B split testing your lookbook strategy if you want to find and test and experiment and try something new. What I think you might find is that you're gonna find one strategy ends up overperforming another. It's very rare, you guys, that we find things that perform equally at 50-50. And trust me, there are a lot of different ways you can test these strategies. You can certainly test strategies when you're using things like streak or boomerang, and you want to be able to see how someone's really responding to your subject headers, excuse me. And you can also be A/B split testing when it comes to sending out regular mailers, right? Direct mailers, things that are in the mail. So when we start to think about being totally innovative, it's important that we don't take complete departures from what it is that we're doing. It's important that we say, what am I being innovative against? What are the A/B split tests of what it is that I'm trying to create? Now, what this really reminds me of, and this is a little bit tangential, but definitely on the lines of website functionality. In the talk I gave yesterday, I was speaking really specifically to the fact that last year, while we all thought retail was going to crap, hey Suad, when we think that retail was going to crap, we actually end up doing $2 trillion globally in e-commerce and mobile, right? And so what's so amazing about that is that we actually saw $2 trillion come out of a market that is only converting at over like 1.3%. That means when people come to your website, they only check out, they convert at 1.3%. That is an industry average for e-commerce. Now, the top 25% of landing pages that convert, of e-commerce sites that convert, are converting at over 6%. Holy bananas, over 6%. And they are able to reach that 6% conversion rate by not just A/B split testing, but by ABCD split testing, and then also ABCDEFGHIJ testing. So 10 different distinct landing pages that they are testing out. Now, that is if you really want to move the needle. So while everyone is so impressed by $2 trillion globally from e-commerce, I'm actually more impressed by the opportunity of being able to convert our landing pages higher. So when we think about, guys, website optimizations, all these things that we're doing, we want to be super innovative. I also want us to be thinking about how can we convert the things that we have at a better rate of return. That, I think, you guys, is like super duper magical and like such an amazing opportunity for all of us with all of our online businesses, especially if you already have a steady stream of traffic. If you're in the beginning stages and you're struggling with traffic and you don't have the traffic, then you need to pump in marketing dollars in order to get traffic. However, if you already have traffic and you're looking for ways to increase your rate of conversion, you have got to be thinking about conversion rate optimization combined with keeping with your brand identity. I got into a little bit of a tete-a-tete with a very good friend of mine who's the founder of a company, CEO of a company called Outlier, very successful menswear company. And we were sharing a cab from New York, heading to the airport. He was going to Paris for a Premier Vision. I was coming to Magic. And it was so fascinating because we got into a bit of an argument about, a loving argument over retail and whether or not branding and conversion rate optimization, which one really trumped, right? Which one really was kind of the thing you had to really focus on? And what I actually think is so valuable and important is when we think about what it is, right? When we think about what is most important, branding is always going to be very important, but conversion rate optimization is what's going to help you make more money. And you've got to find, guys, the right balance between the two of those. Okay, guys, I know that we've been on here for a while. We've been talking for a lot. I think I totally forgot that it is Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Thank you for reminding me and letting me know that that it is Valentine's Day. I should likely call my husband and wish him a happy Valentine's Day from here in Vegas. I'll be in Los Angeles later tonight, so I'm looking forward to that. But thank you guys for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have you here, and I will talk to you guys later. And I hope you have an amazing market. Make sure you check out our blog. Make sure you guys check out all the really cool content and stuff like that we have for you regarding wholesale, pitching, etc. We consult brands. We work with amazing companies. If you think you are an amazing company and you guys need some creative consulting on pitching, business modeling, all of that stuff, please shoot us an email at hello@scalingretail.com. I'm out from Magic, and I will see you guys later. Bye.